New York Knicks are juiced up.
Oh, yeah.
9 straight. 6 of the 9 on the road. They take care of business against the Jazz without Jalen Brunson. No Jalen, no problem. Josh Hart, whatever you need, I will show up and I will fill the holes.
Mr. Triple-Double.
No Jalen Brunson. We need more distribution. No problem. Me and Kat will clean up all the boards. Fellas, don't worry about it. We'll take care of all the glass work.
It's unbelievable.
When I need to score, like the other night on the road, I'll score. He's unbelievable.
Sean, 12 dimes, 13 boards before the fourth quarter started.
He's one of my favorite players in the NBA by a wide margin because there was I don't feel this way about Josh, but I used to say this about Joakim Noah. Guys are just getting every ounce. To be frank, for me, Joakim Noah had zero talent. He was just big and had a big heart and was a grinder.
Offspring of an
exactly, and just showed up, played hard, and got better. Josh has a ton of talent, but he plays like he's afraid he's going to get kicked out of the league every night.
Yeah, remember against the Wizards, 3 threes?
Dude,
eyes closed.
Nobody in the NBA, him and maybe a few other people, show up every single night and play as hard as he does every single night and don't miss any games. He plays every single game, every night, and does anything you need, any possession.
He's
Amazing.
invaluable.
So
how does a guy like that even bounce around the NBA? How do you mismanage that?
You know what's interesting about that is to get traded and be involved in that, you have to be valuable enough to be part of the deal. So, like, if you're not getting moved, you're probably that's something too, right? Yeah. So if you are always like Malcolm Brogdon, he's always like just valuable enough to kind of go to the next spot, and that's kind of where it's been for Josh. But he's found his home here with the Knicks. They get another W. Josh Hart is the catalyst. I feel like I'm being disrespectful to Kat because he puts up another 30 and 20. He's been unbelievable. I don't know what's gotten into him since getting to New York. He looks way more athletic. He going to the basket, that attack in the rim, that part of his game looks a lot better. He's been awesome.
You see, the Jazz coach was like, the threat of Karl's 3 is almost as dangerous as his actual lethal three-point shooting.
Well, dude, Cat in December, 23 points, 15 boards on 57% from the floor, 39% from
That's
3.
Absurd.
So when you're shooting 40% from 3, that's when players get really, really spooky. So it's like, I have to close out.
Yeah.
And then if you close out too hard, I'm at the rim and it's a dunk. So that's when guys offensively become really tough. How'd you feel about the Jazz win? And then we'll start talking about the next few games coming up here with the Thunder and then going to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of it. Josh Hart was the key ingredient that night. Just an unbelievable. When he gets rebounds and puts the ball in transition, you just don't see that out of non-point guards very often in today's NBA. It's refreshing, and Cam Payne was kind of doing a little of that.
No doubt, he played well.
Played very well. I think he almost scratched 10 dimes himself. But just an all-around excellent effort. Bridges looked great on the road as of late as well. Nice to see OG get over 20. It's just such an effortless, selfless team. I really believe because Brunson is the catalyst, they don't care who gets the stats that night, how they get it done. I mean, sure, that overtime 55 piece for Brunson was his moment, but then the next night, it's another guy's moment. It's a Josh Hart triple-double night. You just don't see that in this NBA, and you're starting to see this defense as we're looking at the numbers. I mean, 8th in opponents' points per game, 4th in net rating, and 5th in average point differential, also 5th in rebound percentage. These are the things that as we start looking at closer to, now that we're in 2025, playoff basketball, these things matter. Defense is ticking up. Effort's been there. And again, obviously, just night in, night out, chemistry improving.
They've been covering numbers as well. So the numbers have been big, 12, 13-point spreads against some of the worst teams in the NBA, but they have been taking care of business there. I'm excited to see what happens, though, when we start talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, man.
27-6 right now, second best record in the NBA. For me, the best team in the NBA at the moment. You can argue with the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. The Knicks are right there in the conversation. But
no Boston.
Boston's there, too. Yeah, I mean, those are the 4 best teams in the NBA.
Do you Thunder or Boston right now if you're putting in futures? Are you going Thunder? Everyone's healthy in this hypothetical.
In a 7 game?
Yeah, NBA Finals.
Yeah, I would have to go Boston.
All right. I'm just curious where you're at with Boston because you were on them last year pretty on the money, but I haven't heard you talk too much Boston. But they've been banged up a little and just quietly.
Well, they're coming off a title, and it's like that go get them in momentum attitude during the regular season is just not going to be there. The Thunder, on the other hand, still have that like we're going to show up every single night. Boston doesn't have that anymore because they picked up some hardware.
Quick question on the Thunder: do you think them losing to the Bucks in the NBA Cup final actually helps them for momentum to the playoffs?
So funny you say that because the only concern I have with the Thunder is how are they going to play under pressure and under really bright lights. Last year they lost to Dallas.
Yeah,
they just couldn't contain Luka and the rest and Kyrie. And once they got Lively and PJ Washington going, they looked really, really good. First time since last year, them losing. Last year, kind of still, you could still argue they're young. They are inexperienced. Of course, they lost to Luka and Kyrie. Then the first time we get an opportunity to see them under bright lights is the NBA Cup final, and they looked small and shriveled up.
A little bit. A little SGA heavy, but no Chet. But
no,
still
nobody shot it well, though.
True.
Like,
True.
Everybody, like, there's got to be times, like we were just talking about with Josh Hart, SGA's allowed to have a bad game.
100%.
He's got to get picked up.
Yeah.
He had a bad game in the final, then everybody had a bad game.
That's where I'm looking at Jay Will. I mean, is Jay Will going to be that true 3? If Chet's the 2, maybe Jay Will is the 2, but I kind of look at Chet as probably the 2 for that team. Yeah, SGA goes under 25 and they're in trouble.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yeah, and but it's tough too because he scores 30 every night too.
Yeah.
So my only concern is that like when things get tight, is Kassan Wallace and these guys going to be able to knock down big shots on the Western Conference Finals type of stage?
Yeah.
We'll see. But when we're talking about the regular season, you know this as a bettor in yourself, just like me. There are spots I really like. Are like they can't show up here. They play 4 games in 6 days. They're on the road again.
Yeah.
They're playing one of the best defenses in the NBA. And that was exactly the spot they were in against Minnesota the other night. It was a 7.5-point spread. I'm like, defense first all day. I like the points here. I would take Minnesota. They don't blink. They show up every single night and play really, really hard. They end up covering the number. So I'm excited to see what the Knicks go down and do on the road.
Yeah, is this an NBA Finals preview? Do we dare say?
Possible.
I think it is. I know OG didn't face this team as a Knick last year. Jay Will crushed us. We're looking at the numbers, 36 and 33.
Yeah.
In a matchup like this, are we looking at less SGA and more the role players to shut down? Go ahead. You kind of like that. I'm trying to think of a comp in the NFL, but like let the number 1 receiver eat. As long as Mike Evans and no one else eats, we'll take care of the Bucks type deal. Is that sort of how you're looking at this from a Knicks perspective?
I think that's how you beat the Thunder. If you let SGA is starting to get into the realm of like he's scoring 30 regardless. Like that's kind of where I'm at with him. He's that special offensively where it doesn't look like many people can guard him. Like Jokic,
and called him the MVP.
Yeah, like Jokic. He's just going to score 30 if he wants. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
When Brunson gets going and wants to, he's going to score 30. Like, that's what it is. SGA is getting in that realm for me, so you have to slow up everybody else. The league is set up to where the best offensive guys are going to be able to get to the basket and score, and the way he gets to the line is special. And he hasn't even added that real 3 ball yet. So
let me ask you, because
the other guys.
You're good with breaking down matchups because there's so much length in SGA's game for a point guard's wingspan's above average and his height. Are you throwing a couple guys at him in this game? Do you want to see OG on him a couple possessions more than just point guard?
Yeah, of course, because I think OG is our real true stopper. Like,
so you want him on Jay Will?
I would like to see OG on SGA.
Yeah.
But
I would love to.
Yeah, like that's like OG is the guy that's the real true 1v1 stopper on the Knicks, and I think that is the guy we're going to be looking to in the playoffs to stop the A1 guys or at least slow them up as much as you can. So I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup. But like, let's be honest here, Knicks have been playing really well. Schedule's been a little soft. They've been playing. They haven't been playing teams like this next coming stretch with January and February, Boston, Oklahoma City. A lot of these games are in the Garden, which is great, but we play Oklahoma City twice in the matter of a week, and we won't see them again until maybe, hopefully, it's in the finals.
Do you try anything from a Tibbs perspective, just in lieu of maybe it being a team you see in June, or is that too cart before the horse? Just because you only see them twice a year and you're seeing them twice in 10 days.
It's just, but it is like a measuring stick game. Like, everyone talks about how good the West is all the time. Like, let's see.
Yeah.
Like, you're a top team. Like, let's see. Let's go on the road and compete. And they've been playing up to that comp. They went out to Denver and got that huge win. They can keep up. I'm just excited to see what happens.
I mean, Alex, you talked about a potential finals preview. This is the third favorite matchup on FanDuel right now. It's plus 1,400 for Knicks-Thunder.
Oh.
Thunder are in most of the favorite matchups, too. It's them and the Celtics all over this.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss before we move off if we didn't bring up our guy iHeart.
Yeah,
there's all love there. It's not like he wanted to leave or nothing. So Josh Hart had a fun line, like, big man got paid, coming in a little heavier.
You know what's interesting is, like, I'm sure it's all love, but at the end of the day, you didn't love me enough to give me the deal. So, like, I'm sure there's some type of, even if it's a little bit of, not animosity.
I think it's more for iHeart to come in and have a good game rather than the Knicks to take it to him from a psychology perspective.
Oh, yeah. At home in Oklahoma City.
It's Hartenstein's time.
Yeah. He's going to, I would imagine he wants to play really well. And, like,
13 double-dubs in 17 games, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, he's a perfect fit for them.
Unbelievable.
We knew that coming in. They needed size and rebounding and screening, and that's what he does best.
Last thought for you. This is the number one D in the NBA. We talk about it off air, on air. Do the Knicks play to the style of the team they're going against? This is a slower team that plays real D, a lot of half-court ball. What are you envisioning there? Just we saw him coming off a high-paced team that turns the ball over a ton in Utah and plays to the over. Now we're seeing a team that is tops and D.
I'm looking for Cat to do his thing at the basket and just bring pure size and strength because that's what they have trouble with.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, on the wings, they strap you up. If you go look at, like, the dribble pull-up shooting percentage and catch-and-shoot pull-up percentage against, like, Lou Dort, Caruso, SGA. Like,
so many two-way players.
It's really, really hard to get out and on the perimeter and go to work on them. It doesn't work. You have to figure out different ways if it's getting out in transition or using size to get buckets. But I would love to see more, and I want to see if that's what ends up happening is just Cat being on the block a little more than he usually is.
So you'd be much more impressed with a game where they win, maybe no one cracks 100, or first to crack 100 wins this game, than a game that plays to the over and whoever hits 120.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm with you.
I would be shocked if this was a up and down, high scoring game.
I like it.
The two of the three best defense in terms of pull up shooting, the Knicks and the Thunder, 2 and 3. Knicks are ahead of them though.
I love it.
There you go.
There we go. Yep.